Hello, my name is Roleen Mose. I am the reigning Miss Supranational Kenya as well as Miss Supreme America. I am a runway model and commercial model at PMTM agencies. I'm also a peer counselor, so if you need some help, I can counsel you here and there. And I want to be an entrepreneur in the future, and so I'm really just starting out. So I went to school in St. Elizabeth, Karen. That's where I spent most of my junior school, which you call primary school here. And I went to Lukenya High School for 5 years because I'm a COVID baby. After that, I then went to college in America. I go to the Dallas College at Eastfield, but I hope to transfer next fall because I want to major in Institute of the Arts at California because I want to be the next Lupita, but like Roleen. I was born in Kisii, Kenya, but my mom was a single mom. She always wanted a better life for me, and she moved to the US. She wanted me to join her as well, and so after my primary school in St. Elizabeth and high school in Lukenya, I decided to join her. I, of course, always visited her because she's been there for like 25 years now, and that led me to start pageantry. Well, in the first place, during high school, I had so many challenges. I wasn't sure about myself, and during a robbery with violence in my grandma's house, I was almost raped. Well, that experience changed me, and that's what led me to start Women Without Limits, a project where I encourage women to focus more on self-love and personal growth, because these things contribute to better mental health. And we've lost so many pageant women, Chelsea Christ, Miss USA. Being born by a single mom made me just want to stay with my mom, but it wasn't possible because she had to provide. Now, just moving to the US was a whole new experience for me in terms of family as well as just career-wise. So I have 4 siblings, and I'm not as close as I am with my siblings, with my cousins, because I mostly grew up around my cousins. When I was young, people would always tell me, "Oh, you walk nicely." And my head teacher at St. Elizabeth, she used to tell the students, you guys should walk like Roleen and everybody. She used to call me Loreen, so now when I refer to myself as Loreen. But she really liked me, and she gave me, I think, the push that I needed. So when I went to high school, I actually organized the first ever Miss Lukenya pageant. And this meant a lot to me because as a Form 1, I competed. Funny enough, I always liked speaking in front of people. I've been a student leader all my life in every single school I went to, and I think speaking in front of people just gave me the confidence that I use right now in pageants, and it's a very essential skill to have when you're in pageants. And whenever I felt unworthy or low, I read books, I read podcasts. But I think the defining moment in my life was whenever I was in a robbery with violence at my grandma's house in Kisii. I had gone to visit, it's holidays, Christmas, and people came to ask for money, and I was almost raped. I didn't feel free enough to speak about it to my friends or my family, and my mom actually first heard about the experience when I started competing in pageants and speaking about it. But I spoke to my aunt. The Kenyan thing where it's not like a Kenyan thing. I think it's Africa in general, where it's the woman and how she dresses that affects how people should behave towards her. And that really made me feel a certain way. But this and all other high school experiences, I wasn't performing very well in sciences. This made me have a lot of anxiety as well as self-doubt. I'm a person who thinks about the future a lot too, and I think that contributed to the anxiety and stress I was having in high school. I wasn't a very happy person. Right now, if you meet me in high school, you would think it's 2 different people. That's how pageants contributed to my life. It's made me happier because competing has made me grow as a woman. It's made me have friends who have direction in life. how I started pageants is my friend, I always really liked reading books, not necessarily self-help books or motivational books, but just books in general, mostly novels and Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, stuff like that. But once my friend approached me with this book, it was written like she owns the place. So naturally, I wanted to own the place. I was in high school, I wanted to walk in a room and people look at me and they go, wow. And so I read the book, hoping to own the place. But at the end of the book, what I really got was this confidence, this urge to be better. I saw a better future for myself. My teacher in high school, she used to tell me, he actually used to tell me, you know, you can't make it in life, you cannot do it in life, because I even come from a family of scientists, white-collar jobs, teachers, and branching out was a bit different because I used to catwalk in school hallways, school dorms. Mr. Kivandi used to tell the other students, don't be like Roleen, she's directionless. You'll not make it in life, Roleen. But that book really gave me something to look forward to. And so I started to look for everything in school to get involved in every single activity I could. And we used to have this motivational talks with Achieve Solutions UN, and I wanted to be involved. I wanted to ask questions. I think one of the most influential advices to my life was the teacher who said, you don't have to be perfect, but when you chase perfection, you achieve excellence. He wasn't my very favorite teacher, but that thing always stuck with me. And so I started small, little by little. I joined Alan Gray Entrepreneurship Challenge. I've always wanted to have a bright future. I wanted my children to have a future better than I, because that's what my mom worked so hard for. And so by joining the Entrepreneurship Challenge, I started thinking outside of the box. I saw a pageant. It was called Miss Black America International, Miss Black International Ambassador, and I applied for that to go and compete in Australia. I wanted to go out of the country. I didn't tell my mom yet because I had been trying to get a student visa for so long, because they don't give it to you. They're not sure if you'll come back. But that was my breaking point because I didn't get it. I didn't get the visa to go and compete in Australia. And that's about the time COVID hit and my life was changed, because that's when I got my citizenship for America. I moved to America and I never looked back. I always wanted to be in pageants, but the one thing that made it so life-changing for me, that I had to be in pageants, was Miss Universe 2018, Catriona Gray's year. It's not just her winning, it's everything in that year. The glamour, the way she speaks, the way she expresses herself. She's so sincere. And I think one of the most important things she said was that do a lot of things, involve yourself in a lot of activities, find yourself, so that when you speak your truth. And I wanted to be that woman. I wanted to be the woman who's so pretty but has a lot of purpose, a lot of direction. And that was life-changing for me. I went and entered my first pageant, Miss Texas Teen USA. It was very hard to convince my mom to let me go into pageants, because she was like, I always wanted you to be a doctor like me. And no one had done pageants before in my family. And on my birthday, she just asked me what I wanted, and I said entry fee for Miss Texas Teen. And those were 130 contestants. It was crazy. But I made it to the finals. I competed. I didn't make it to top 15, but a lot of people came up to my mom. They were like, I thought your daughter was the happiest on that stage. She rocked that stage. Your daughter is meant for pageants. And from that day, I never looked back. I entered my second pageant just 2 weeks later to represent Dallas at Miss Texas Collegiate, where I placed at top 10. I also entered the next pageant where I was first runner-up, America's Most Beautiful Pageant. And my fourth pageant in the same year was Miss Supreme America, which I won. Believe it or not, Miss Supranational Kenya is my fifth pageant. So they vet you, they speak to you, and if they see you are fit enough to compete at their system, they allow you to do so. And my mom was very happy to let me compete. She's very supportive. I would say I would not be here without her, because the fans are a lot. You know, people see the glamour, they don't see making your nails takes money, making your hair, and the bad part about pageants, waking up in the morning. So if your hair and makeup session is meant for 4 in the morning, you have to be up by 3 or earlier, because you need to shower before makeup. And you need to talk to people with dignity, and it has to be sincere, because people can tell when you're not being sincere. And for you to learn, it comes with time, a lot of patience and passion. I think if I didn't love pageants, I would have given up, because I'm the kind of person, if it doesn't work, next thing. But I stuck with pageants because they've made me who I am today. The way I speak, the way I walk, it's different now. And I would say I'm proud of who I am now. So my From the Ground Up project, or rather platform as we call it in pageants, is called Women Without Limits. The reason I started this is because I struggled with a lot of self-worth and self-doubt problems. And I think it's not nice for a girl to struggle with such things, because we are all beautiful in our own times. And I think the thing that caused me to have this so much is because I have a fear of the future, as I mentioned earlier. I want to be successful in the future, but that gave me a lot of pressure. But I know that we are all different and our journeys are different, and I wanted for both young girls and women and children to understand that God has made everything beautiful in its time. God has made everything amazing, and if anything is meant for you, it will come for you. I think one of my other problems was I was losing things that I wanted. I wasn't getting what I wanted, what I put my heart into, and that broke my heart. And not living far from my mom was a bit of a challenge, and so that's what led me to start Women Without Limits. I wanted people to feel worthy. I wanted people to take it easy, because life is taken one step at a time. Aside from that, the things I do among Women Without Limits in the project is speak to other title holders. I host an Instagram heart-to-heart series where I speak with women from Jamaica, Thailand, I've spoken to Philippines. I speak to them about the challenges they've had as women in pageants and women every day. And I hope one person or the other will be inspired. You know, you don't have to inspire 1,000 people, but if you inspire one person, I'm sure that person will speak well in the future and inspire the next person. And that's how we change the world, slowly by slowly. I also have the hashtag Limitless, where I encourage people to listen more. You know, we talk so much, and in a world where everything is fast-paced, everybody wants to be heard, it's important to slow down, listen to someone. And I have that challenge as well myself, but nowadays I am more intentional with my words, I'm more intentional with my time, and I try to listen more. If I'm gonna stop someone and I'm gonna tell them my story, I'll be like, okay, enough about me, tell me about yourself. And I think that's how we make change, slowly by slowly. Being successful means being able to see hope for the future for me, because I see so much light and I see so much potential in myself, and I know that other women as well should be able to see that for themselves. In the future, I hope to start a sports and talent training facility in Africa, starting with Kenya, South Africa, and hopefully grow internationally. I also am a Bachelor of Fine Arts major student, and I hope to be the next Lupita, as I mentioned earlier. I want to make it big in the acting industry and make an impact doing so. Women Without Limits has been able to help the people who feel less worthy. It's helped other people be more themselves. You know, sometimes prevention is better than cure. As I mentioned before, we've lost many people due to mental health and a lot of suicidal death, but nobody is doing something to prevent that. And I think Women Without Limits encourages people to grow personally, which in turn helps people have better mental health, and we prevent, we prevent suicide by doing so. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Mose Roleen. I think I changed it from Share. And you can find me at Miss Supranational Kenya Instagram page. You can also follow my journey by subscribing to the Miss Supranational YouTube channel, ensuring you're voting, you're sharing, because that means so much. You show love and support so that people know we as Kenyans are one. You're showing your love, your support. You can also find me on Twitter, but I'm not very active. And also on Facebook, Roleen Share. I would really appreciate all the love and support from my country people. Aside from that, I really hope that everyone who was watching today understands that God has made everything beautiful in its time, and I think that's the phrase that's keeping me going through all the hardships. If anything goes wrong, I remind myself that God's made everything beautiful in its time. And what's meant for you will never go away from you, will never be for someone else. We are all different and our callings are different, our stories are different. And once you understand that, I think the pressure becomes a little less than it was before.